Elemental energy is the core essence of Genshin Impact, and everything in Teyvat revolves around this one power source. And in this game we play, elemental energy takes many forms, with some being more innately powerful than others. Also, this power source has layers. So many layers, many of which are not particularly explained well, and others that have just not been explained at all to this day. But in this video, it is my goal to push the boundaries of knowledge to potentially find the true answer behind how this system works. Because in Nodcry, we have had a ton of lore drops, some of which I'm not too particularly fond of, I'll get to that later, and others that have shined some light into the darkness of the unknown. Or should I say, moonlight. Because I believe that it is Kuvaki that allows us to crack the code on precisely how elemental energy works. Because this is the pure power of Kuvaki explained. Okay. So it has been a long time since I've spoken about Genshin Impact. In the last video, I was on the front lines defending Mawika, and in this video, I called Arlecchino a fraud due to the fact that in the story up until that point, she had done absolutely nothing. But since then, her character has been on full display in Nodcry, and my opinion of her has since changed, because she was very much active here. And I bring her up not only to admit that I was wrong about her, but also because she herself is a very good starting point. Because she is what happens when a human wields powers that are incompatible to themselves. Let me explain. In the world of Teyvat, there are three realms: the light realm, the void realm, and the human realm that is kinda stuck in the middle of the two. The light realm belongs to all manner of elemental beings, such as elemental beasts and dragons. The human realm is home to, well, humans and the ley lines, with the void realm being the abyss. And all three of these realms run parallel to each other, but only two of these realms are compatible to each other, and that is the light realm and the human realm. This is why humans are able to use elemental abilities while aided by things like visions without harming themselves. Everyone hates the abyss though. But as we've seen before, the abyss can just use elements and corrupt the ley lines, so it's almost as if the void realm can just dominate the other two realms, and the human and light realms have to team up in order to survive. A thought that is supported by the existence of phlogiston, a human-safe substance created by Celestia to aid humanity in fighting against the forces of the abyss, that dragons and bishops can use as well due to them being elemental beings of the light realm. So bringing this all back to Arlecchino, her powers originate from the Crimson Moon, but because this moon was shattered and corrupted by the abyss, so was her power. So this incompatibility caused her body to slowly corrupt over time, leading to why her hands are black. However, since the events of Columbine inheriting the power of all three moons and thereby eliminating all traces of corruption from this newly formed trilune iridescent moon's power, Arlecchino's corruption should stop spreading when she uses her full power. Something Celestia is going to be very mad about when they wake up, but heck, we've already got Conrians in the ley lines with Capitano, a dragon sovereign where the Hydro Throne used to be, so the heavenly principles don't seem to exist at present. And yes, I have heard of the whole AI terraforming Teyvat theory, but even though this theory is very well put together with a lot of support, unfortunately there are just so many issues with this that I just personally can't accept. Because if this AI created humanity, that means the AI also created King Ermin, who is supposedly responsible for using the sibling to cause the cataclysm by having the AI's master, us, ally with the abyss to fight the AI, being the heavenly principles. So this AI of unknown origin that we supposedly dropped off the first time we came to Teyvat is powerful enough to terraform the world, beat back Nibelung, steal the world from the dragon natives, only to fight itself with the beings it created by its own genetic vault, then punished its own data creations with immortality instead of just rewriting them. Also, Nibelung it was very much capable of also creating humans because the Moon Sisters are very much human, so that's a problem. But also, if this AI created all humanity and terraformed the world just to accommodate us, we are actively fighting our own AI, and this entire journey is pointless Because no one we've met ever existed. They are all data and only like us because the AI said so. And even if they themselves aren't data and the genetic vault doesn't work in a digitized fashion, even though when they die they return to the ley lines just like dead characters return to a character pool in a video game, their entire lives and the laws of Teyvat are dictated by data. So the traveler and the sibling are the true and original gods of Teyvat. So of course everyone likes us. Their lives only exist because of us. We became the honorary knight in the first sage and Tumaini not because we are a hero, but because we are the only being that matters to the AI creator of the world. We are an isekai overpowered protagonist. Do you see why I have a problem with this? If the Heavenly Principles AI theory is real, the stakes of this entire game are null. So that's scary, but that's besides the point because aside from the halt of corruption, Arlecchino has probably gotten much stronger because the more pure power source is, the stronger it is, which leads us into Kuvaki, the power source that turned the entire power system of Genshin Impact on its head. Because first it was just elemental energy, then it was phlogiston assisted elemental energy in Natlan, which is pretty much just dual wielding two different types of elemental energy. Now we have Kuvaki, which is claimed to be stronger than normal elemental energy, with Nodcry Moonwheels being stronger than Visions. But we'll get to that later because that's a whole different can of worms. Now, the reason why Kuvaki is stronger than normal elemental energy is due to the fact that it is the most pure out of any type of energy. And I'll tell you why. Because it's light, a moon goddess's light, an elemental being's light. And thanks to Albedo, we have recently discovered that the true form of elemental energy is in fact light, because it acts the same way light does. You see, elemental energy in its purest state is never used by humans, because the energy has to commit to a certain element, and in order for this to happen, the energy has to be forced through a prism. And just like how light shown through a prism splits into 7 different colors, we have 7 elements in the world of Teyvat. So we know the elemental energy is either light or something very much akin to light. But what makes Kuvaki so special and powerful is the way Columbina created it. She made it for it to be used by humanity. So it is light elemental energy unsplit, only altered for the purpose of human compatibility. And it is so compatible to humanity that people like Lauma are basically elemental beings at this point, because her antlers take in elemental energy in the form of Kuvaki, which is why she is so disproportionately strong and things like her blood can heal people. But I guess you're wondering, isn't phlogiston the same? Well, not exactly, because Hoyo likes to get very sciencey with their power systems. You see, phlogiston is either in a liquid, solid, or gas form, which is atoms or molecules. But the thing is, elemental energy works more like photons, which are like particles, but they are particles that act like waves. So taking elemental energy and changing the way the particles behave forces it away from the purity it innately has. But Columbina isn't doing that. She is somehow keeping the purest form of elemental energy and giving it to humans, meaning that even though Celestia tried to give humanity access to the elements to fight the Abyss, no one can do it better than a moon goddess. Which does explain why Celestia didn't attack the moon goddesses after Nibelung's pre-Abyss defeat. They are Celestia's best chance at fighting the Abyss. Well, without Skynails tearing everything up. So that is how Kuvaki works and why this is pretty much the final piece of the elemental energy puzzle. Which on a side note also explains why us and our sibling are not supposed to have a color in the gems of our clothes. You ever notice that? We always had a shiny white there, not a color. Why? Because we used a light elemental energy, an energy that is so pure that it hasn't been put through a prism. We used to be able to use the source of all elemental energy in its purest form, but with the limits placed on us by the AI that supposedly made this world just for us, we can't use it anymore. But since we are compatible with all 3 realms, the human, light, and void realms, we can use phlogiston and Kuvaki simultaneously, all while purifying Abyss power and balancing the ley lines. We are broken, because there is no side of Teyvat that actively rejects us. We are a descender, but we are no alien. Dottore makes some points, but bro is very wrong about that. Okay, tangent over. But how do moon wheels work and who grants them? Well, that's the fun part, because we don't know. We literally don't know. We aren't exactly sure what or who grants visions. We kinda thought it was Archons, but that clearly isn't Raiden, because she's too oblivious to know anything useful. We also thought it was Celestia, but no, they've been inactive for the longest time. So the only lead we have is the Dragon Sovereigns, because we know for a fact that Neuvillette gave a vision to Farina. And people get visions in literally any way you can think of, so we really don't know why people get visions. But we do know why people get moon wheels and Nod Cry as opposed to visions. They are literally just Kuvaki visions. There is just one strange outlier, being Enefa, who got a moon wheel in Natlin of all places, where no Kuvaki is present. But this can be explained by the fact that she is powered by Kuvaki, so that influence gave her a moon wheel instead of a vision. How these manifest, we still don't know. I figured that the dragons would know, but the literal dragon lord said, "What? Impossible!" to Enefa getting one, so oh boy, 6 years and we still don't know how this fundamental game mechanic works in lore, go figure. But at least we know why Kuvaki is stronger than elemental energy and why elemental energy works the way it does. And visions must be a type of converter that transmits energy from the light realm into a specific elemental energy. And moon wheels do the same thing, but they draw on a more purified source, making them stronger than visions. Because this is the pure power of Kuvaki explained. And yes, I have heard the theory of the entirety of the Heavenly Principles thing being some sort of AI that has something to do with the sibling ship, but I'm still upset with the fact that the ship exists at all, because this conflicts with the intro cutscene of the game. Like, they were clearly ready to fly out of Teyvat before Asmodee stopped them, so they obviously don't need a spaceship, and it hasn't been mentioned until now. And Skirk and her master clearly don't need a spaceship either. They just traverse space just fine. And it just doesn't make sense to me, and I just try not to think about it. And I also don't like how much sense it makes, because the design of the ship mirrors the Sky Nails. The shiny blue material with the gold and the white, it's just definitely from the same origin. This entire world can't have been created by a really stupid AI and powerful AI, because it means everything and everyone is created to like us. Nothing is genuine. The AI is made to create a world for us and stole this world from the dragons, making us colonizer bad guys? And I hate that. But what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, y'all.